Hello, I'm Alex. I'm with Fix&Go. Today we're going to talk about how we train our new tow truck operators, even though they have the training from a prior repair facility or a tow company. We're going to talk about a rollback. Okay, we're going to talk about people out there buy brand new rollbacks that they don't know how to operate them. So we're going to show how to properly operate a rollback, where the buttons at on the dashboard, certain buttons you have to use. Some of the key points about how to properly strap the car on, like 8-point tie down, how to use the wheel lift, how to properly operate the bed. I'm going to do a little bit of talking, and then the rest will be doing Larry.
Good morning.
So here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in the truck right away, and then I want to go ahead and show you the dashboard and everything else. Just remember that this is how we do it at Fix&Go. There's 20 different ways to do it. There's different rollbacks, different manufacturers. Our rollback per se, this is a brand new 2025 Mac rollback, one of the new ones they came out. And our bed is Jordan. So come on in. I want to show you a few buttons on the dashboard. So first thing you'd see right here, make sure you have proper air pressure on your gauges, because that's very important. You want to make sure that when you turn the PTO on, you have proper air pressures. If you don't have enough air pressure, the PTO will not come on. You should get it checked out at your closest dealership. All right, or an authorized mechanic. So basically, you know your turn signals, you know your lights. Now we're gonna talk about more about the rollback aspect of it. Okay, now you make sure your lights are on. Come up here. Mainly what you're going to use in the rollback world, in the towing industry, you're going to need the PTO, power takeoff. Okay, this is your PTO. This is what runs all your hydraulics. This is going to run your winch. This is going to run your bed. It's going to do your wheel lift. Bunch of other levers. Right here is your strobe light. So every time you come up to a scene like an accident, you make sure you turn your strobe lights on so you are visible out there. The strobe lights are a must. Okay. Now this is your engine brake. Engine brake is when you go down the hill, you're loaded. You can let off the pedal, brake pedal. You'll see the engine strength to slow down the truck without you using the brakes. It's a great thing, so you don't overwork your brakes. Okay. You don't want to overheat your brakes. And let the engine brake do all the work. Okay. Another thing I want to show you, like I said, the PTO. So basically on a Mack truck, this is how you do. You just push this button up, and you'll hear, as soon as the PTO is on, it'll lit up blue, and you'll hit it. You'll hear the humming noise. Okay, that's when you know your PTO is engaged. Now, the load light. Okay, so load light's very important, right? So when you get out there at night, you want to be very visible. You want to know what you're towing, right? It's important that you don't face your rollback towards the police in the back, because you will blind them. These LED lights will blind the police. They're not state troopers and local authorities. They're not going to be happy. Now, if you do have to do that, just go in there and apologize. Just say, I'll turn them off as soon as you're completed. But make sure you have your strobe lights on at all times. Don't forget, please. Okay, but remember, when you have your load lights on, you're just blinding somebody in the back. It could be a car passing by. It could be an older person behind the wheel, and you're just blinding them. So just be very responsible about using the load lights. That's about that. I have my PTO on. Another thing I want to tell you guys, this is a brand new Mack. This particular suspension don't have the dump valve. Okay, it doesn't have the dump valve. Okay, so I don't have that button here, but most of our other rollbacks, they do have a dump valve, but this one don't have it, so you don't have to dump the air suspension. Okay, so that's a plus. But if you do have it, make sure you hit the dump valve, so it'll bring the back of the load down. It'll be sturdy with the floor. Okay, so when you have the load off of it, you don't have this jumping effect of your rear suspension. Because if you don't hit that button, the back of the truck's gonna jump up. Okay, well, I think this is what we have. Obviously, make sure you have your seatbelt on when you arrive, lights on. Make sure just be careful out there before you get out the vehicle. Make sure you look to your right and left. No trucks or cars flying by us. You're gonna get hit and get hurt. Just remember, your loved ones are waiting at home. Just remember, it's probably just very important, but don't just go ahead and jump out. Just make sure you turn around. Make sure you have a sturdy. In case if something's coming at you, you can fly back inside, okay? Don't just come straight out. Just make sure you have a firm grip on the handles. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and have Larry, one of our master recovery specialists, have him take over, and he's gonna show about how to operate the bed itself, okay? He's gonna show you all the levers. Is going to show you how to engage and disengage the winch, okay, the cables, and then we might do a separate video for the wheel lift. I think that it's important that we do make these in steps, so we don't have to rush right now trying to show you everything in one clip. So, all right, Larry, you go ahead and take over.
All right, guys and gals, today we're going to be talking about the Jordan lift. Basically, it is very simple. Jordan, Miller, Century, all of the controls are going to be totally different on all of them. So on the Jordan, on the bed part is in the front. On the Century and the Miller, the bed part is on the rear. So you just got to look down and see which one you're actually working with. It'll actually tell you which lever goes to which. We also have a pressure gauge here it'll tell you what kind of pressures that you're putting onto the hydraulic system itself, and you never want to exceed what the manufacturer recommends. On this particular truck, it's around 2,000 psi. Other trucks, 3,000. Other trucks, 1,000. So all you're wanting to do is when you back up to your vehicle that you're going to be towing, remember, guys, safety first. If you're on the side of the road, there's controls on this side, there's controls on the opposite side. So what you're wanting to do is actually be away from traffic. If you're on the side of the road, go to the other side of the vehicle. Same controls. On this one, you're wanting to roll the bed back. On this particular lift, there's actually an arrow to where once you get that arrow to this point, to the first lever, then you can start tilting your bed. Because if you come up this way, we'll show you why. In this section here, you'll see that this actually has locks. The frame of the bed of the tow truck will engage these locks. If you're not away from the lock, it'll actually bend the bed. If you bend the bed, you ruin the whole tow truck. So once we come back over here, always keep your eyes open for things like, because now we're going to be lifting the bed, you want to look up, make sure there's no power lines. You want to look behind you, make sure you have enough room for the bed to extend out. From here, all you're doing is lifting the bed up. Once there is actually a bar that's underneath here, once this touches the ground or gets really, really close to the ground, you can start sliding your bed back. You don't want to slide your bed back, especially if there's a load on it, before that touches the ground. What could happen if the load is actually a very heavy load, it could actually lift the front end of the truck up off the ground, and you can run into situations that way too. Once you get it to where it's touching, all you're going to do is roll the bed back. It's a very simple operation to tow vehicles on a roll-off. Once you get it to about that point right there, you can actually lower it down a little bit, let the bed out. Once the bed goes all the way to the rear, then you raise it up again until the dovetail is actually flat onto the ground. There's going to be plenty of times where you're not actually going to be on a flat surface. You want that dovetail flat to the ground. That'll help you when you bring in vehicles onto the truck. As of right now, we don't have J-hooks with our winch, but we can explain to you how the winch works and how you would hook it up will be on the next video. On all tow trucks, you have a bar here that will actually engage and disengage the winch. So on this particular tow truck, you pull out and up will disengage the winch. You would reach back, grab a hold of your cable. Again, you're working with cables, you're working with metal. Gloves are a must. Don't want to get splinters in your hands with the metal splinters. With the winch disengaged, I can reach up here, grab this cable and start pulling it. So from here, with the different hooks, you would hook to the vehicle. If the vehicle doesn't run, you can winch it on, go from there. Once you get it onto the bed and get it situated to where the front tires are actually up to where about middle of the front tie downs, you're good to go from there. We'll talk about tie down points. We'll talk about everything like that in the next video also. Remember, always 8 points of tie down. What you never want to do is you never want to put something onto one of these beds with the heavy part to the rear. That'll cause a lot of issues when you're trying to actually winch the bed back up onto the truck. So once you get the vehicle hooked up, all you would do is you would come up, grab it, pull it, and push it back in again. Remember, your front two are on the Jerr-Dan, the front two are for the bed. The middle one is always for the winch. No matter what make it is, it's always for the winch. And the rear two on the Jerr-Dan is for the wheel lift. So from here, all you do is you push in, and the winch actually will connect itself and start winching the vehicle on. Once you get the vehicle on, I'm just going to winch it up to where the cable's up off the ground. So once you get it on, all you're going to do is actually, you don't want to slide the bed onto the asphalt. You could destroy the asphalt, you could scratch up your bed. This is being a brand new vehicle. I don't want to scratch up the bed. All you're going to do is just take this and tilt it down just until the bed comes off the ground. Once that bed comes off the ground, so that you're not touching anything, all you're going to do is you're going to roll it forward. Now, what you should do is roll it forward all the way until your arrow, if you have it, or 6 feet from the back of the truck to meets your controls here. Once it gets to this point, you can lower the bed or raise the bed. Once it hits the frame, then you can winch it all the way on. Once it stops, you're locked. Now the frame is locked into the frame locks. The bed will never come up. From there, you would go ahead and tie your vehicle down. Like I was saying, that is actually on the next video. Always keep your eyes out for vehicles. Always keep your eyes out for hazards of any type. Clean up your messes. 90% of the time, if you run into a recovery to where you're actually pulling a vehicle onto the bed, if it's a wreck, you're going to have a cleanup. So there's that too. Always clean up after yourselves, guys. That gives tow truck drivers bad names if you don't clean up after yourselves. And from here, once it's tied down, you can go to wherever you need to go. To take the vehicle off, it's just backwards of what we were talking about. All you're going to do is actually keep it tied on, okay? Slide your bed back to your arrow, or 6 feet comes to the controls. Tilt your bed up. Again, wait for it to come very close to the ground or touching the ground. Slide your bed all the way back. Set it all the way down on the ground where you're level, and you can either winch it off, or if the vehicle runs, you can drive it off. If it's able to run and drive off, the easiest suggestion I have for you is to disengage your winch. Pull your winch cable with you. That way you're not trying to do it yourself. Let your vehicle do the work. Other than that, guys, have a great day. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithms. It helps us out. Other than that, we're good to go.